Welcome to our next edition of Shop Culture. Today is January. I'm sorry, man. I wanted to get to July real quick. Man, today is January 19th. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys all so much. Let me turn it over to Mr. Barry R. Crosby.
How you guys doing? Sorry for a little bit of a later start, but you know how this goes sometimes. Modern day technology, of course. Once again, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to Shop Culture. And we got a good show tonight. We got some really good topics. And we got to finish some topics from the previous shows. So once again, guys, I am joined by the relationship guru, my tag team partner, you know him as Mr. / Dr. James R. Hill.
How's everybody doing out there? Thank you for tuning in.
And then you guys know who that is in the background, the man with the voice.
How you guys doing? Appreciate you tuning in with us.
And I'm Barry Crosby, and this is Shop Culture. Man, let's
Relationship edition.
We are yes. We've been doing a lot of shows. Well, I guess I've been doing a lot of shows. So you're right. This is the relationship edition. This is a good one. What's up, Keith? How you doing, brother? Keith, man, that's a boy, Keith.
That's my guy.
Oh yes, Bisway. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Gracias.
Okay. How was your weekend, brother?
My weekend turned out great. I had a lot of time off. Got some good rest. My brother, who travels around often, got time to spend with him for a couple of days. You know, when he's in our region, and it coincided with me having some time off, so it worked out perfectly.
So you had about a 4-day weekend.
4 or 5. Yes.
Oh man, I need that life. Well, actually, I'm having that life.
Had to stretch it out a little bit, and the time was right. I got to kick it with my bro, and it's always a good time.
Family time is always so important, especially during this time. So that's great. My weekend, I'm handicapped, man. So right now, so it's laid up, it's resting, just trying to heal up and get better.
We're wishing the best for you.
I appreciate it, man. But I always got to do the Shop Culture. I wanted to do it from my house, but Mr. The Doc said, no, we got to get back in the studio. So we are back. As you can see, we got a new background. We're coming up a little bit in this world. And then next week, we actually have our first corporate sponsor, too.
All right.
So Nana's, if you guys haven't been up to Nana's up in Kent, soul food restaurant, man, you guys got to check it out. One of the best.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
So let's get on to it. This is we're going to talk about some relationship stuff.
Yes. And we had an issue that we had to close out from our last show, where we were discussing the topic of a woman holding out on sex after an argument.
Okay.
And that evolved and segued into if you're married, is a woman obligated to give sex anytime her husband wants it? Regardless of how she feels or not. We had some mixed comments on there, and I want to put a disclaimer, or Barry wants to put a disclaimer on that, as far as where the comments went and where the origin of them was, and what they actually
Barry has
meant.
feelings too, so I'll play. Yes, what I did is I asked the question basically, and I said what I heard, because I have heard that, and I've heard that from both men and women, in terms of once you get married, there's no no's when it comes to sex. Now, I didn't say me. I'm not married, so I was asking the question. I was proposing the question out there, and somehow it got turned in that I was saying that I would do something like that, basically. And then the word rape came in, and I want to be that's a serious word, allegation. So before we use what I call loaded words, we probably should ask first for clarification before we just jump into it. So I took that as a no-go over here.
Right.
And I understand that we ask questions and we kind of poke the bear, I guess.
Right.
But me and the doc, unless you ask us specifically, we're asking questions. We're just putting questions out there for you guys to answer, for us to have dialogue back and forth. And actually, I believe it was the following day. Yes, Ryan, Nando's is a must eat. I believe the following day I had actually a client come in and he subscribed to that.
Right.
So there are people that you might disagree with it that do believe and agree that, hey, if I'm getting married, sex is always a go.
You would want it to be, and you would hope so. But
you shouldn't take it though. I don't think anybody was saying take it.
Right. And I think that's where, because that was a trigger for a lot of women, because most women at some point in their life has had a man force themselves or try to force themselves on there. Therefore, that creates that hits a nerve for a lot of women. That's a sensitive spot, and it should never be condoned. We are not promoting, or I think it got misconstrued a little bit. It is never acceptable for a man to force himself on a woman. And furthermore, if there's a no while you're married in sex, the issue isn't the man not getting sex. There's a deeper seated issue than that. I mean, there's a reason why she's saying no. Because does she love you? Yes, she loves you. Does she want to please you? She should. Yes. That should be an objective for both of you. But you should never go overboard. And there's a deeper seated issue as to why she's telling you no.
And it goes both ways too, because men do have the right to also say no.
Absolutely.
And sometimes, and I speak, been in situations where, hey, I didn't want to do it. Got called out, made fun of, and then when you bring it up, it's always ha 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 laughing. Oh, well, you're a man. That doesn't happen, type of thing.
Right.
It happens both ways. No is no.
Right.
Regardless. So, I'm glad you brought that up, and we want to put that out there. So.
Yeah, we just wanted to get some closure on that.
So yeah, you guys chime in. What do you guys think? And again, you know what this is. This is Shopkulture. So we always ask you to like and share. As you see, we're growing, and we always appreciate the comments and views.
Yes, we're going to address the comments. We want to hear your comments, and so we're going to move on. We just wanted to get closure on that, but we're going to move on to an interesting topic. We posted a meme. Maybe you could tell a little more about it, Barry. And this is about boundaries and respect, if you ask me. Can you put that up, Twan? So she's upset, saying you're wrong for texting. He's upset, saying you had no right to go through my phone. Who was wrong? I want to hear your input on this.
Okay, let's start, Doc, because you're the doctor, the relationship guru. Talk to us.
Bottom line, there's a trust issue. There's a trust issue for her not going through his phone. She felt for some reason that she doubted her trust in him in order to pick up his phone and go through his text messages. Which is a violation of his privacy. Should he be texting another woman? No. But then some men have women friends, platonic women friends. Platonic women friends who may be married, who just may be friends. It all matters what the context of the text messages were. Were they intimate text messages? Were they interpreted by her as intimate text messages? Or were there a couple trigger words in there that she felt he shouldn't have said or been communicating with another woman in that way? So there's deeper seated issues than her looking at his phone or who he's texting. And therefore he should any text that he sends, he should be able to share with his wife, with his partner. Regardless if it's a man or a woman. If you're sending a text, you're in a relationship, you're texting with someone, inboxing. If you can't show that inbox message or text message to your partner, then there's a problem.
That's a lot there.
What do you guys think? I mean,
you should tell your partner. Does your partner know who the person you're texting to? Shouldn't that be a conversation?
Yeah, it should be a conversation. They might know them, they might not.
Okay.
And
you have that conversation with your partner. Hey, this is such and such.
Right. And I mean, like it should be a conversation. Like even if they're in a relationship, well, she may feel that you should text her man if you want to communicate with her. It should be a them communication.
Why?
You know what I'm saying? Because they communicate within each other, and out of respect for her man and your relationship, if you have something to share with them, text her man and say, I mean, if you're setting up an engagement, you're inviting them to something, you don't text them. The man doesn't text the woman. The man would usually text the man, as the woman would text the woman.
Well, shouldn't it be an issue? Shouldn't the issue be trust, though? Shouldn't you be you should trust one another where lines wouldn't. I don't know.
Right.
Why you have to do all these number of texts, because it might just be something very simple.
It might be something very simple. Then you should have no problem sharing that with your wife. Oh, I'm going to text her and tell her this, or I text her and I told her this and the other. So if she looks in your phones and sees text messages from this woman, well, you did tell her there were text messages between the two of you. It's about being transparent.
Yeah, transparency is fine. I think the meme was kind of getting into when it's a violation and your partner goes through your phone without permission.
Right.
Because I think that's a little bit different than what the meme is saying. Because the meme is saying you're going through my phone without permission to go through my phone.
And more likely than not, when you get to that point where you think you have to pick up his phone and see who he's texting, you're going to find something. So don't look for what you don't want to see. Don't ask the question if you don't want the answer, because you've already got to the point where you have suspicion, or you would have never picked up the phone to go through the text messages.
So are you saying, doctor, is that a yes or no? So you're saying your partner should not go through your phone?
Absolutely not.
I second that.
Yeah.
But we got to go through each other's phones. Then why are we together?
Exactly. But on the other hand, there should be nothing in the phone to find that you shouldn't tell them about.
You shouldn't, but there's sometimes some things that can be taken out of context.
Okay, they can be taken out of context, and it's all a matter of trust, which is why I have a challenge I want to pose to our listeners.
Tell about the challenge.
I have a challenge.
Okay.
I mean, relationships are about trust and transparency and us being open with each other. So I have a challenge.
Okay.
If you're in a committed relationship or a marriage, switch phones with your mate or your spouse for one day.
That sounds kind of dangerous for some people. but 2020 is not that far removed. That sounds kind of dangerous right about now for some folks.
There should be no danger involved if we have full transparency, trust, and commitment in our relationships and our marriages. And if there is something there, I mean, now you can swap each other's phones with each other and choose not to look through the other person's phone. Do you feel you need to? Swap phones for a day. Take calls. And that's all you need to do. I mean, unless you feel there's something you need to look for. But that's my challenge. Swap phones for a day.
Ryan, I agree. Ryan said it's a trap. I think again, if you're in a relationship that is a healthy relationship, trust should be no problem there. And I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't swap phones?
No.
So why not? Do you think it would create problems, or do you think it would create a closer bond that you trust this person, or that you're being totally transparent and you have nothing to hide? Well, I ain't nothing to hide. Here, take my phone. Answer my phone. Does your partner have the passcode to your phone? Should they? Do you have a problem with that?
Ooh, now that's an interesting one. Okay, what do you think about the passcode? You probably should have the passcode, right?
Right.
In case of emergency or something like that.
Right. Why not? I mean, a lot of people's phones are. A lot of people, their phones or their electronic devices are closer to them than their spouse. So you may learn a lot about your spouse that you didn't know.
Oh, from the phone?
From their phone. Or from their attachment to that phone. And are they willing to let that attachment go for 12 hours?
So what do you guys think about that? Swapping phones, or don't swap phones? I wouldn't take the challenge. The challenge would be a no-go over here. It'd be the Shopkulture no challenge. No on the phones.
Well, Now, do you think just refusing that challenge raises red flags?
Why should it? We have a trust You know, if we're, like I said, in a healthy relationship, trust should be there.
Right. So, I mean, do you use your phone solely for business and you need it all day, every day? That's a different story.
Well, mine is for business.
But what business?
Well, with clients, if I have clients, yeah.
Okay. Well, you're in the shop. They know where you're
Yeah,
at.
well, there you go. Wait, hold on. Wait. You mean my clients know where I'm at? Or?
Absolutely. Your clients know where you're at.
Huh.
They know where to find you between what hours and what hours.
So you see how we skip, because the beginning of Shop Culture used to say there was a curfew, right?
Yeah.
So now
absolutely.
now I have to give up phones. So pretty soon.
No, you don't have to.
But you're saying
why would
it's a
you
trust
not?
thing.
Why would you not?
Because we're in a healthy trust and we have trust.
Okay. It's just a challenge that I'm posing.
It's a good challenge.
Do you have trust in each other? Okay. Do you trust that your partner can take your phone for a day and not go through it and look at it?
Oh, is that the challenge?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's up to them what they want to do with the phone. But do they have a need to? If they don't, no.
You guys, you know that there are a lot of insecure men and women out there in relationships. Like, how do you think that's really going to go down?
It may strengthen a relationship. If a person feels that
or you might break up.
They can be totally transparent with me to give me their phone. Because if you have anything to hide, if you have nothing to hide, you can be totally transparent. Why not give up the phone? This is my challenge to you. Swap phones for 12 hours with your mate. You take hers to work, she take yours to work.
What are the pros?
I'm not saying dissect the phone and do a forensic biopsy on the phone.
But you know that they are going to do that.
No, why would they? What reason would they have to do that?
Because females call their friends up so that they can investigate the last 13 years of your life.
Okay, and men aren't? Men won't do the same thing?
Not as much.
Oh, come on now.
Oh, Doc, you think men are...
Now, if your relationship is strong and you're happy, you have no reason to even look through their phone. If they call you, you answer it.
I agree.
If you don't recognize the call, let it go to voicemail. You're not going to be answering your spouse's phone because it's not for you. I mean, if you have to make a call, you have a phone to make a call.
So if you
you have no reason to be going through the inbox, emails, and all that, unless you have some suspicion and you're looking for something. When you're looking for something, you're most likely going to find it.
Well, at that point, though, you said that communication is key, right, Doc? So wouldn't you be better off talking to your partner versus snooping on them?
Absolutely. You talk to them. I didn't say anything about snooping. I said swap phones.
He said swap phones, and that was,
It's your choice if you want to dissect everything in the phone, So, I mean, it just takes up time in your day. You're renting mental space and if you're doing it, you have suspicions ahead of time. If you're not, and you're happy with the way things are going, you're cool, you trust your partner, why even look at their text messages?
And I agree with that. What do you guys think? Let's get to a couple of comments.
Yo, Ryan said that it's a trap.
Yeah, I said that, yeah.
How is it a trap? Explain that, Ryan. I see Stephanie says, I've been single for a long, can't answer this. But seriously, we would have trust, so.
And I think there's something I just think men would probably have more of a harder time, to be honest.
Really? Do you really think so?
Men would have a hard time.
Okay.
What do you guys think? Because women are sign me up. Hey, not one man has said anything. Men are quiet about the phone. Let me turn it. They're like, I'm gonna watch Shop Culture next week.
Let me tune out, till you guys switch subjects.
Guys, I recently got this in our inbox, and it was a husband that had seen his wife's Facebook message.
Okay.
And somebody had said something kind to her. It wasn't on a flirtatious tip, apparently.
Okay.
But the husband was still not happy and ended up hitting the guy back, talking about, hey, don't talk to my wife. Like, this is, beyond your scope. I'm going to need you to go ahead and back it on up. Even though the guy did not say anything trying to, hit on that man's wife or anything.
Can we get kind of what the email described, what that message contained?
From what I understand, the message contained, thank you. Thank you, for helping me along my way, what have you.
Okay.
It was just, basically a gratitude type message from what I understand.
So it was a feeler. So the person was feeling it out to see if it was going to get some response. Right? That's what.
Yeah, it all depends on what the relationship, be it professional, personal, is with that woman that you send this message to. Do you know her? Do you have any contact with her?
Mm-hmm.
Is it someone that you work with? Is it a client of yours, or whatever the case may be?
Yeah.
Now you're messaging her. If you were dealing with her, if you met her casually, are you dealing with her in a professional sense? And then you start to send her inboxes. Is this appropriate? Her husband would say no. I would say it's a fishing expedition.
That's what I said.
Right.
That person's trying to fish.
Right. To see if she's going to bite.
That was yes. The voice in that email, because I seen the email, it was quite long because the person was really trying to convince. Actually, he was talking to you and trying to convince you that was not the case.
Right.
But it sounded like it was a practitioner and a client.
Okay.
So my question would be, why are you hitting the client with that though?
And if that message left open-ended, if it was open-ended, you're respecting a response, whatever that might be. Yeah. So it's kind of a fishing.
What do you mean by open-ended, Doc?
Oh.
Sending a message saying, this is that, I appreciate this, and you're leaving it open-ended, not putting closure to it, saying that you're looking for a response, be it negative or positive, and then we'll probably act accordingly on that message. A fishing expedition.
So if that person, and I agree with you, because if that person would have responded, would the person that sent us the email keep responding?
Say that again?
If there was a response to that,
okay,
from the lady, I'm assuming, right?
Uh-huh.
Don't you think that person would have continued communication?
Absolutely. That's why I'm saying fishing for something and leaving open-ended messages for that response. And if that response was positive in what they were looking for, sure, they're going to delve deeper into it.
Absolutely. So that was a feeler.
Right. From my standpoint. Just my opinion.
Well, I agree with you on that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, well,
should they have been texting a married woman in the first place? If it's not, in the first place,
right?
A client.
Absolutely, that was a feeler. That's what Stephanie DeLeon says. Stephanie DeLeon Lawson.
She said that is a feeler. Yes, it was a.
I don't know. When I read it, fellas, I didn't take it as a feeler. So it was an interesting one to me, especially since you guys had brought this meme up. That was a good one.
Mm.
Lydia, appreciate you, Lydia. How you doing?
What's up? How you doing, Lydia?
Lydia said, I have never solicited advice from people based on sex. Usually I talk to my friends when looking for advice. They all happen to be women.
Oh, that's a different topic, I think.
Well, that's an interesting topic.
Is.
Regardless, she's saying regardless of whether or not it's a female or male, she's going to take the advice. That's kind of what I'm getting. But they just happen to be women right now. Right. See, that's tricky because I don't know if I would necessarily want my wife taking, having those kind of, again, conversations. Let's say a man.
It depends on who the man is and what their relationship is. I mean, if you're close with another couple and she has a friendship with his wife, he's having problems, I would have no problem with him reaching out to my wife saying, this is the issue I'm dealing with my friend. Mm-hmm. Can you give me some insight?
But you would want him to contact you first?
No.
Oh, you would be all right with, okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't want to contact me first.
Okay. Huh. How about this one? Because I had somebody ask me that. How about appropriate times of texting? If they say
times of day
or times of night. So
oh yeah.
So okay, what would be the appropriate cutoff time
9 p.m. Anything after 9 p.m.
Oh, okay. I said 11.
Oh, 9 p.m.
Okay. Well, what if some people stay up late. Some people.
Well, it depends on who you're texting.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I text people, it depends who it is, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're texting someone else's spouse at 1 in the morning,
that's booty call.
There's an issue there.
Or what if that person can't sleep and is really stressed out and needs to, vent?
Well, you vent to someone else, not someone else's wife.
Okay. I was just asking. Yeah.
Yo, Ryan said men and women have a bench prior to getting into a relationship. In my opinion, someone off the bench will be willing to engage regardless if they are in a relationship.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
So you're saying everyone's got a backup, a substitute?
Yeah. Well, he's saying you got the sixth man,
I beg to differ. I don't agree with that.
You really?
So you're saying everyone has a backup plan as comes to their marriage or relationship?
In one way or the other. If I don't think he's saying that they're using that, but they do have a backup plan.
So there's someone just sitting there waiting.
There's always going to be somebody waiting.
Okay.
If you got any type, what I hear.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if you're a good woman or a good man. Yeah, of course. You don't think so?
Well, yeah, there are people that lurk in the wings.
Oh, they're lurking.
But I don't think a person looks at it as, if this fails, this is my backup plan.
They don't look at it like that, but it is a backup plan.
Okay. Yeah, that may be the case. A lot of cases, that is the case.
Yeah.
But then you're not happy in your relationship already. If that's
or the backup plan already sees that the relationship is going to be ending, so they're just sometimes.
Right. But that has nothing to do with the person that's in a relationship. But we're talking about the person in a relationship, from what I understand, having a backup plan or a sixth man or a sixth.
Yeah, and I'm just going from the other perspective because the backup plan doesn't. It's not going to always be the backup plan. Backup plan sometimes you say I need to be a starter.
Okay.
And then he goes I need to be this.
So you make
I need to be the superstar. So then it goes up another notch.
So you make substitutions at times, is what you're saying.
Oh, that happens.
Okay, it does happen.
Yeah.
And it happens because people aren't happy in their relationship.
So they ain't doing the four
cornerstones of the foundation.
Tell them.
I mean, that's what it takes. I've said this over and over again. I don't know if you hear it. I see some people that are new tuning in, but I'll repeat it. If you're going to build a strong, loving relationship, you have to start with a strong, solid foundation. That strong, solid foundation consists of 4 cornerstones. You have to put those cornerstones in place. Cornerstones of a strong relationship, I'll repeat them: trust, respect, friendship, and communication. Those are the 4 cornerstones of a relationship. From there, you build to love. If one of those cornerstones is not in place, you're building on an unstable foundation, and it will not be sustainable. And you notice a lot of people say, well, I fell in love, and I just fell in love. But if a person doesn't respect you, right? If a person doesn't respect you, you never get to love. If you're not friends, how can you love someone that's not your friend? How can you not have a good lines of communication with someone that you love? How can you be in love with someone that you don't trust? You have to have those 4. Those are the 4 key cornerstones.
And real quickly, guys, we appreciate the viewers for tuning in. Now, remember, if you're watching them from our personal page, we encourage you to move on over to the Shopkulture page, please.
That's where the heat's at.
Come on, yes, because some people are like, well, where are you? Yeah, comments are always usually on the Shopkulture page. And remember to like and share Shopkulture. All right, we got some more comments. Oh, I see some more.
We got a few of them in the deck, man. We got a few of them. One of them is from our friend Lydia that said that she doesn't have a backup plan.
Okay, good.
That person isn't too happy, in my opinion.
Yeah, that has the backup plan is not too happy. Yeah,
right.
Obviously, I would agree with you on that.
And there are a lot of people that continue in the relationships for various reasons that are unhappy.
Yeah, most of them financial.
Not always financial. I mean, there could be triggers that if you get with a person early in the relationship and they tell you what their triggers are. You know, don't physically abuse me. Don't use profanity and call me out my name. These may be triggers for that will cause that person to shut down, that it's there no matter what. I will not accept this no matter what. And everyone should have their no matter what's. And make them clear early in your relationship. Then that person continues to do that, they don't respect your personal morals and values.
Or non-negotiables.
Yeah, non-negotiables, no matter what. Yeah.
I actually seen one. If you scroll down, that was a good comment because I thought that was from Stephanie about group chatting.
Oh yeah, Stephanie said that when I finished, or friends had a group message with her.
That's a matter of respect.
That's
being totally transparent.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And absolutely. And so I think she's kind of going on what you said, but more importantly, she's respecting her friend too.
Right.
You know, one thing that was brought up was by our viewer Diane.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you, Diane.
Thank you.
She said that if trust is really there, you wouldn't snoop. Having each other's phone passcodes doesn't mean that you just, go for it. You go through their phone.
I agree, Diane. Yeah. Yes. And then every relationship is different for people too. So, the norm for one relationship might not be the norm for others.
Right. And if you're strong and secure with yourself is what it comes down to. And most of these things are people that are insecure with themselves, and they feel or have guilty consciences, or they're doing something themselves. So they feel, well, their partner must be doing the same thing. So you have a need to snoop through their phone because of your own guilty conscience or insecurities. More often than not, that is the case.
That's part of it. Yeah. And I think both men and women have insecurities. I think it's what you can accept.
Right.
In a relationship, I think
and it should be clear the things that you will not accept.
Yeah.
That's a big part of that communication, right? Being open and honest with your partner, right?
Would you have a problem with letting your spouse answer your phone?
Absolutely not. I mean, if your phone is laying there and it rings, can you just tell your spouse, answer it?
We have to go back to that.
Barry, you sweating already?
No, I'm not sweating. I'm just saying that's heat right there. Right. That's interesting. No, absolutely not.
Yo, Stephanie said, I have a few men who think I am their best, but I am clear. If I am not first choice, I am not an option. And your woman deserves better. You better tell her.
Oh, that's right.
Well, Stephanie, do you tell that person's woman? You tell her what's going on? And should you tell her?
No, that's not her place to tell her that.
Oh, okay.
That's her place to put him in his place.
Okay. But you don't think that she should contact that person's significant other and tell her, hey, these are the texts?
She has nothing to gain from that. That's just being messy.
The guy will never stop pursuing either.
Oh, he will. You put him in his place. You give him the
I don't know about that.
He will stop pursuing.
You think he'll stop pursuing?
Yeah, absolutely.
You tell that woman, he'll definitely stop after you tell on him. It would be no answer.
Or he may come knocking on the door with bags in his hand.
He got too much.
Put him out.
Well,
so you know. So what she's saying is that she's a priority and she's not an option, and that's what she needs to let him know up front.
Stephanie said that she's had many married men send her messages. I always respond with, as long as your wife knows we're talking, then nothing.
Ooh. Well, is that the right? You think that's the right response, Doc? What's your opinion?
Absolutely, but then there are some relationships outside of marriage. Communication may be an important piece. If you're and some women may look at it as cheating, but if you can't communicate with your spouse, then you're lacking something in your relationship, if that's something that's important to you. So you may go outside of your marriage just to talk to a woman, to get someone that you can communicate with. It may be an unconscious effort, but you may just feel more at ease. Talk to them if you're having communication problems.
Well, we're talking about a platonic friendship.
It could be platonic, and you're just talking. But
this is not somebody you're attracted to.
That doesn't matter if you're attracted to them or not. But you're just talking, and you're getting fulfillment out of that because that's what you were missing in your relationship. You may not see it, but you're getting fulfillment through engaging in effective communication with another woman if you're not getting that from your relationship.
Ooh.
Yo, fellas, we actually had a couple of great ones.
Okay.
One of them is from Don Watkins.
How you doing, Don?
Hey, Don.
She said, my fiance and I both have each other's passwords to our phones.
Okay.
I told him I appreciate it, but I don't want to have to use it. And God forbid I ever have the desire to check his phone. I'm done. I will not check up on a grown man that has said he is committed to me. He knew my non-negotiables by the second day.
That's real right there.
There you go. So you don't need to check his phone.
She don't need to check his phone.
He's a good man, and he's doing what he needs to do. He's walking the talk.
Yep.
My hat's off to you, Donald Blue.
Yep. But that's real. That's what I'm saying. She don't have to check the phone.
Absolutely. She can take the phone, but she has no reason to check.
No reason. And if I have to do that, I'm done. So I'm not going to do it. So there you go.
On the other page is Lydia that said, neither me or my husband have passwords. He can go through my phone anytime. I don't know. I don't have anything to hide. Plenty of times he hands me his phone to watch something or call someone, and I've never felt the need to go through it. And I don't think he'd care, though he's never told me not to, and that assures me I'll never have to.
Okay. So different approach,
right?
The same outcome.
Right. Yeah. It's about trust, and it's about how secure do you feel within yourself and are you happy with your current situation, or do you have suspicion that something's going on due to your own insecurities or guilty conscience?
Yeah. And hypothetically, even if the man has something going on,
right?
They're saying, hey,
right?
Does it matter?
Right. Maybe it doesn't matter. He's taking care of his business.
Taking care of his business.
I'm happy. I don't want to look for something. I don't want to ask questions
because
if I'm not going to be able to accept the answer, pretty much.
Yes.
So don't go looking for something that you don't want to find.
Because a lot of times that just plays with your psyche, man. And I've seen that happen so many times. And that relationship is Hey
V.
V, what's up? How you doing? V, I am waiting for that. You had said something earlier. You're going to tell us the story, so we definitely want to hear from you on that one. But yeah, back to that. So yeah, like I said, everybody has different things in the relationship.
Right. And I see there are a few people that tuned in late. I posed a challenge earlier where we were talking about respect and who's wrong, going through your mate's phone and finding text messages to another woman. Is she wrong for going through the phone? Is he wrong for texting another woman? There should be transparency. I mean, if the text messages were inappropriate, he's wrong. She went through his phone snooping. She's wrong for that, but there's a deeper seated issue because she was looking for something. So suspicion was there to begin with, and she's simply investigating on this suspicion. So the challenge that I posed, swap phones with your mate for a day. For 12 hours, swap phones. Are you able to do that? Do you have the trust in yourself? Are you secure enough? Are you transparent enough where you can switch phones with your mate for 12 hours?
Doctor, as a man, if a woman did that to you, would you end the relationship?
No.
Okay.
No. Because it is what it is. You talk it through, you work it through. If you're in a relationship and you're committed, it should be strong enough to make it through just about anything.
Even that?
Yeah. Absolutely. But when you come down to a person's personal morals and convictions, and they're no matter what, and their triggers, and you constantly pull their triggers that they told you were unacceptable to them, now that can end a marriage or relationship.
It can. It can. I think that really feeds into the insecurity, and I think if somebody's already starting to look through your phone, I think it's pretty much probably close to the end.
Right. There's trust issues there, and there's suspicion if you're having to look through someone's phone. So if this is you and you're thinking, I have to look through this phone, take another look. Think about what you're getting ready to do and ask yourself, is it necessary, or do I just cut the cord right now?
Is it necessary? And what's going to be the end result of this?
Right. Because there's trust issues, or insecurity. So why am I looking through your phone? Well, obviously I don't trust you, and I think you're up to something, and you're hiding something. Deal with the issue. Cut it off and run if you think that's the case. Or how long are you going to be going through this phone? Every time they put it down, every week, every month, where does it end?
Are you looking? And yes, yeah.
Nip it in the bud. What did V say? I had to check someone's phone because I didn't trust him. That's
okay, well, there you go. Well, yeah.
My intuition made me do it. He was still messing with his baby mama, and he got her pregnant while they were together.
Okay.
The day I snooped in his phone, the relationship ended, and I never looked backward. That was 10 years ago. That's what I'm saying.
Were you guys in a committed relationship?
She said they were in a committed relationship. So
well, did he know he was in a? Sometimes.
I'll see.
I'm just saying. Hey.
You know, if you're in a committed relationship, if you're hiding things like that.
Yeah, that's yeah. Especially if you get pregnant. Yeah, I'm just playing devil. That didn't work on that one.
Right.
V said, now I'm in a trusting relationship and we have nothing to hide and we don't need to look through each other's phones.
Right. So they could easily swap phones for a day and wouldn't even look through each other's phone because there's no reason to.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because they're like, hey, we're in a trust relationship for what? That's just beside the point. That's just a hassle that we don't really need to do.
Okay. Right.
I'm just
some
speaking
people
for
people may look at it that way, but then it's going to be a test of yourself. Can you keep your mate's phone for a day without going through it? I mean, what do you want to do with this phone? Do you just want to make phone call, or are you trying to get to know them better and what they're doing in their spare time, or does it matter? And are you happy with your current situation and what they're handling their responsibilities all the way around? So why snoop through their phone?
Have you ever had somebody snoop?
Yeah, absolutely.
They didn't find anything.
Didn't find anything. Nothing. I mean, yeah, it's happened.
Yo, Doc, were they more upset that they didn't find something?
I think so, and then tried to make something out of nothing.
Yeah.
And I looked and see when I said, well, you're in my spam emails, you know, trying to make something out of a spam email that addressed me by my email address. I mean, come on, you're fishing for something that's not there. So, yeah, it was nothing.
Yo, Don said, once you start asking questions, if you are a whole healthy person, and by whole healthy person, she meant healed from your past hurts, there's probably a good reason for your feelings. Some men do things consistently on the regular. When they switch up, oftentimes it's because they are doing something extra. To be clear, she did say some men.
Yeah.
So she's looking at patterns.
Patterns,
yeah. And some men do set patterns. Some people set patterns and routines, but then some people are spontaneous and switch up from the normal. And that, I don't think that should be questioned. I think that's a way to stay young, keep your relationship fresh. If you break the routine, break the norms sometimes, it may be a man planning something romantic for you, and to do that, it's going to take him some time. He wants to take you out of the normal routine. So don't be suspicious of that if he brings you flowers for nothing.
Yeah.
Or if he says, get dressed, babe, we're going out. Or if he takes you on a weekend getaway at the last second, and you look at that as out of the norm and him compensating for something that he maybe. Don't do it.
Yes.
Take it at face value for what it is, ladies.
Absolutely. The voice. There's another.
Yo, Diane. Appreciate you, Diane. Diane said, if there are scars left from prior relationships that they haven't healed and they try to discuss that with their new partner, that partner should do their best to stay away from provoking those triggers. At least that's Diane's husband's input.
Yes, yeah. But is that necessarily fair to your new relationship? That you have to be,
Walking on eggshells, essentially.
tiptoeing around.
No, you shouldn't have to be tiptoeing around. But if you know someone's triggers, like some people say, they may not want you to use profanity towards them.
Yeah, but that's you grew up using profanity. That's part of your language.
Right.
So,
but if they tell you, don't curse at me because my parents always cursed at me as a kid, and that's a trigger for me. Don't holler at me. That's a trigger for me. Or things like that, and they continue to do it, then that's disregard for your personal feelings.
I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I don't know if it's disregard. It's a part of their lifestyle that they've had, they're accustomed to for a period of time. So they ask them probably to change. It's going to take time to change.
You think it would take time to change? Say, for instance, you like public displays of affection, and one of your PDAs is to grab her on her ass in public. And maybe that's one of her triggers. Don't grab my ass in public, or don't do this. Maybe, and you continue to do it. It's not going to end well. That's not going to end well, and she's not going to be happy. And you're not being respectful of what she's saying. What are her triggers? Don't grab my ass in public or something. So you have to respect that. If you can't, then you have to move on.
V said that she's never had to do that again. Now she just does background checks.
There you go.
So that kind of goes back to what we were talking about having the FBI service right there, calling your girlfriends up and everybody on Google.
Well, I mean, women are the best investigators of anyone. And I don't, hey, ladies, hey, Googling, background check, driver's license check, credit check, the 9. Because some of these dudes out here are looking for a free ride.
Oh my goodness, yes. I never thought that until you see it. Like some of them, like, you don't see that.
Right.
Women, it's such an infatuation at that particular time.
Right.
So yeah, you're right. But men got to do it too, man. So I think that's you should do that.
Absolutely. But men,
credit checks too, right?
Yes, credit checks. Absolutely. But women are more likely to come out and reveal their situation up front than men are. Than to try to hide it. I think women are apt to be more transparent about this situation once they come to terms with themselves. And if they're not, then you're not ready to move into a relationship. If you can't be transparent with who you are and share that with someone that you're interested in.
Well, I don't know about that. Are they all I think that's transparency is a problem for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. What do you guys think about that?
But transparency is so freeing when you can be.
It's transparency to a certain extent. Is what I'm getting at.
I'm full transparency.
People said that, and then you're like, "Oh, well, you didn't tell me about that." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's yeah.
But don't ask the questions that you don't want the answers to. I mean.
Well, then don't say you're transparent either. Don't say you know what I'm saying? Like it goes.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying you have to volunteer all the information about your whole life, but when you're engaged in a conversation and the topic comes up or the question comes up, be truthful and transparent.
Okay, I'll give you an example. One of my clients was talking about this. He said that he started dating somebody, and she's always coming over to his house, and he's like, well, he's never went over to her house. And it's always an excuse, you know what I'm saying? It's always something.
Right.
So now he's wondering, like, well, why am I not, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's a valid issue.
So would you guys have a problem with that if you're dating somebody and you never went over their house for like the first month and a half? I
mean, if you're cool with her coming over to your house, it's fine. But if you say, I want to come over to your house or whatever, I'm going to come to your house and cook for you. I'm going to come to your house, watch a movie, or come pick you up. If you come pick her up, any man's not going to stand outside and honk or call or text. You're going to go and knock on her door.
So you're saying there's ways around that too.
And if she still turns you down, that's a red flag and says no, then there's some other underlying issue.
Well, she said
she doesn't want you to come to her house.
She said she has kids. So.
Okay, well then if she has kids, school-age kids at the house, well then she's being protective of her offspring, and she hasn't vetted you enough and trusts you enough to make sure that that relationship is going to the next level where she can bring you around her kids.
Or he can go over there later after the kids are
right. That could, after the kids are asleep. Yeah.
Yo, we got a new one. New viewer. Appreciate you. This is from Diane's husband, Wave Beats.
Hey, Wave.
How you doing, brother? Thank you for tuning in.
Yo, he said that he appreciates the channel. We appreciate you too, man.
Thank you, sir.
Some scars also can come from what you personally experienced or seen during your childhood.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Childhood trauma.
Most of people's trauma comes from their childhood, how their parents dealt with it. They may have had an abusive parent. They may have had an abusive sibling, and these triggers get carried on into adulthood. We just need to be able to recognize them and communicate them that these are my triggers. Don't slap me in my face, or don't holler at me, or don't curse at me, or don't walk away and ignore me, when we're talking, or something, whatever that trigger may be.
That's a lot of triggers.
Well, I mean, I'm just giving examples
All right.
of what triggers could be. Anyone can have these one trigger, but you voice them, and that person should be considerate of that enough to remember if they're getting ready to engage. If you're talking to them and you're going to talk over them, that could be one of their triggers. Don't interrupt me when I'm talking. That could be a trigger, but plus it's also disrespectful.
Well, one of the things that Diane actually, jumped on with her husband and said, which in turn, with those childhood traumas, it can affect how people handle their relationships later in life.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. You guys are on it tonight. Yes.
And the first thing is recognizing those traumas and what your triggers are. You may be acting or reacting to things that you're not even aware of your triggers are. So you have to be able to take that self-inventory and know yourself enough to be able to communicate these triggers to someone.
And that's real. And you might not like everything either.
Right. It's not going to be all good.
Yes. And we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to like and share Shop Culture.
Yes, absolutely.
So guys, we're going to kind of wind it down and get to the last part of this. This is a good episode.
Yeah. What was that comment from V?
Here he is. V said, "You would be surprised what a background check tells you about a person. I was dating these two guys, and both were players. So I did a background check on both of them. From the background check, it was pretty much told me he was a player, and the other background check told me the other person was a player and egotistical."
Wait. Well, how would you get all of that in a background check that he's a player? And
what I get out of this is V. It sounds like you was a player too.
Yeah. You dated two guys.
Two dudes. So.
Yeah. So, hey, we got to be up there. Did they know about each other? Right. I guarantee they didn't.
Right. I mean, we've all had those times in our lives. I've had those times in my younger life where I dated multiple women, but I was always transparent, and I told them, "You're not the only woman in my life." Some couldn't deal with that and moved on. Others were acceptable of it.
Or just don't do it like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there always is that option as well. Yo, Wave said, "Personal, I think relationships are a lot harder for people that didn't have both parents in their home."
It can be, but I also think that it's accountability too goes into it.
Well, yeah, you have to be accountable for your own issues and know how to address your issues. But even if you don't have both parents in your home,
address them.
Coming up, you need to have both a positive male and a positive female influence in your life. Someone that you can look up to. Maybe an uncle, maybe an older brother. It may be an older friend of the family, but you need that balance to have a healthy upbringing. You need to have a male and a female perspective. So you have to have a male and a female that you can look up to.
And there's nothing wrong with getting therapy too, right? So that can be part of it also when you get older.
Right. That's coming in the later stages. And you need to recognize that you have an issue that you have help with, and you have the courage to reach out and get help. Absolutely.
Well, guys, we are going to wind down, and Doc, give us that wisdom.
So what it comes down to, as far as texting another person or going through someone else's phone, the guilty conscience, or you just have to ask yourself, are you a cheater? And I'm going to tell you, if you choose not to tell your mate about the attention you're giving to another, or you have inbox conversations or text messages that you know your mate would be upset about, you are on the borderline of cheating. Some would say it's just innocent conversation. But in the minds of many outsiders, if they're getting attention from your mate and knows that it's being kept secret, that's just a way to keep them thinking that they have one up on you, because they're getting something from your mate that you don't know about. It's just a crevice for a side piece to slip into. Don't be deceptive or tell half truths. It will never end well. Be transparent up front.
And once again, great words from, you know who he is, the relationship guru, Mr./Doctor. I went the opposite, James R. Hill. Thanks once again. And we got the voice.
Yo, appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
And I'm Barry Crosby, and we appreciate you guys again. Remember to like and share Shop Culture.
If you have questions or topic ideas that you'd like us to discuss, feel free to put them in the comments section. We are working on a call-in edition, so we can call in and get your questions answered live.
Yes.
So that's coming in the next few weeks.
Yes. So there's a lot of changes going on. It's already starting off to be a great year. 2020 is behind us, moving forward. So
2021, new things, new changes. We're going to try to keep it positive, keep it rolling forward.
Yes, absolutely. So guys, once again, thank you. Tune in, every Tuesday at 8:30. Like we always say, stay safe. Be blessed.
Have a good one, y'all.
Peace.